This is the Transformers Legacy United Voyager class animated universe Optimus Prime. One of the figures I was really anxious to get for 2024, and finally I have it. I picked up this figure at Our Toys for a little under 40 bucks. Let's get this guy out of packaging.
And here is Legacy Animated Universe Optimus Prime out of the box. And oh my goodness, I'm sorry. It looks good. When you see the promo pics, all those photoshopped images of this figure, nothing would indicate that this would be a good figure. Everything points that this figure was going to suck that bad. To the aesthetics, quality, and all that. When it was first revealed, I already told myself this is going to be a lackluster figure. You're going to end up selling it. Don't bother with it. But it's an Optimus Prime figure. I love the animated series. I had to get it. But lo and behold, opening him up, I could not stop posing this figure. The figure is amazing. The quality is great. I'll talk about that later. Articulation is fantastic. The aesthetic, at least in robot mode, looks absolutely terrific. I am shocked. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I honestly did not expect this one to be pretty good. Let's take a closer look at the details of this new Legacy United Animated Universe Optimus Prime. The figure stands at about 17.5 centimeters tall, or about just under 7 inches tall. So let's just do the comparisons, because that's probably the biggest question for collectors right now. Here is the original Voyager class Transformers animated Optimus Prime. Obviously, they're miles apart. Is he a proper substitute for this figure? I'm going to go ahead and say it. No, it is not. This is still the gold standard for animated Optimus Prime. Now, having said that, the figure is not a terrible figure. In another universe, this could be animated Optimus Prime. It could be an older version of Optimus Prime, but it is undoubtedly animated Optimus Prime. The aesthetics are there. The color scheme, that whole iconic chest, the way it looks like, even though it's not as deformed as this one, it is the animated Optimus Prime look. The head sculpt, that's probably the biggest selling point for this figure. And you can see the peg right here. This one, I believe, seems to be, at least for now, much closer to the cartoon art. Man, when I first saw it in the packaging, I thought that's animated Optimus Prime. It could use some paint apps, some yellow highlights, some white. I mean, it's an easy fix. But as a head sculpt, looking at it on its own, it looks pretty darn good. The colors, I was very skeptical. But if you look at the peg, the blue, the light blue hue that the plastic they used, and even the paint scheme, somewhat mirrors the cell shading of the animated peg compared to this one. The battle axe. Look how cool this battle axe is. I mean, it extends just like on the show. And it has that booster, which you can plug in a blast effect. I'll show that off later. But which actually is very accurate to the cartoon. And obviously, this is a much better looking battle axe than something like this, it feels like an afterthought. The only thing it doesn't do better than this one is it doesn't have the water cannon. And that's going to be an easy fix for a company like DNA or with the DK Designs. I'm sure they're already fast at work and an upgrade kit for this figure, and I'm sure it will include something like this. So that's an easy fix. But yeah, it sucks that we have to get an upgrade kit for something as basic as this. Big thanks again to my good buddy John for this animated Voyager class Optimus Prime. I'm really regretting selling my animated line. As far as the aesthetic goes, obviously this is a better aesthetic, but as a figure, as an Optimus Prime figure, I love the chunkiness, the beefiness that this figure has. The other thing missing with this figure, it doesn't have a battle mask. This other figure has that gimmick. I mean, I wish they could have put that. That's pretty signature to the character on the show, and would have been nice. But again, like I said, DNA is probably going to do a kit with that battle mask. Probably have a new head sculpt in place to have that gimmick. And hopefully in the future, I reckon this is going to be a very successful figure. And knowing Hasbro, they are going to milk this figure and give us more molds, and hopefully this is one of the repacks we get, a Jetwing Optimus Prime. Not the clear version, a solid plastic version of Jetwing Optimus Prime.
On to the finer details of this figure. Like I said, that fantastic head sculpt will sell this figure easily. And look at that. Great details. I love that sky blue paint on his face, the electrospark blue on his eyes. Even the plastic they used for this head sculpt, absolutely glorious. The chest was actually quite a surprise. I thought this was glossy paint. It's actually clear plastic, smoked clear plastic. And if you're worried about clear plastic, the entire assembly is not made of clear plastic. It's only the windows. They've just jammed it in, and this thing is solid plastic. The illusion is created because it's dark and there's no light coming through here, on very little light coming through. It looks as though it's painted in an opaque glossy finish. It's got the Autobot logo faction right here. Very cool, like the show. And you get a very solid looking robot. And when you look at it, there's very little gaps. Sure, there's some gaps here and there, but they've covered almost every facet of this figure very nicely to give you a solid figure. Got a ball joint neck that is on a hinge, which will allow you to pose him looking upwards if he's coming down on the Decepticons. The shoulders, they allow you to move the arms forward and backward 360. There's a hinge for outward movement, mostly due to transformation. It's got a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, again because of transformation, swivel wrist, but the wrist is actually on a ball joint. It's a shame that the way the forearms are molded hinders ball joint articulation, which, let me just see if I can show it off. It is on a ball joint. So it's a shame. They could have added a little bit more clearance, but it would ruin the aesthetic. So I totally understand why they did that. Hips are on double hinge joints, allow you to kick the legs forward and backward, go side to side. Thigh swivel. These are on hinges that allow you to bend more than 90 degrees, mostly because of transformation. The feet go up and down and have the rocker tilt. So let's talk about plastic quality for a minute. And what I can tell you right now is plastic quality is, okay, fine. You know what? I know you guys missed the pencil. It does sound hollow when you tap him, but it's very solid. I can't complain. Very solid plastic, despite sounding very hollow. It's very good quality. You could see the gloss, the shine on the plastic. Absolutely loving it. Well done, Hasbro. Thank you for not cutting corners on quality for this figure. His battle axe is a mix of both clear plastic and solid plastic pieces. It is painted beautifully, very accurate to the show. I love the choice of color that they use for the clear plastic, very much like what we had for the animated line. And like I said earlier, it can extend and you can store the battle axe on his back. Just like on the show, he gets his battle axe from his backpack or somewhere there. The battle axe is blast effect compatible. So just like on the show, you can use that thruster for that extra torque, extra force to smash some Decepticons. For more comparisons, here he is with the rest of the gang. Both Bumblebee and Prowl are official Legacy figures, while we're still waiting for Legacy versions of Bulkhead and Ratchet. These are the original Bulkhead and Ratchet figures. I don't have the Legacy Bulkhead, well, mainly because I really don't have it anymore. And that Bulkhead figure is part of the Prime universe, so not really worth putting in here. And here is the original animated Optimus Prime back together with everybody else. And I think he scales better now with Ratchet and Bulkhead, because this Bulkhead, Voyager Bulkhead, is a little small in stature. And looking at everybody, that original Voyager class animated Optimus Prime looks like a leader class compared to this new Voyager class Legacy animated Optimus Prime. Probably the only thing that will prevent me from giving this figure a perfect score is the transformation. The engineering on transformation is a little involved. It's on the border of being annoying and enjoyable, if you ask me. It's not horrible, but I just wish they could have simplified some steps. But given the fact that the figure has a very solid silhouette, I mean, there's hardly any gaps or kibble. I kind of understand why they had to do a more convoluted way of transforming the figure, just so we could have a very accurate alt mode and a very solid robot mode. And with that, let's get right to it. So the axe, fold that up like that. You want to open this up, fold it up this way. You want to untab these pieces right here. You want to untab this front part right here. I thought it was missing a piece right here because it looks like it's a hinge joint for maybe a matrix or something like that. But really, it's a tabbing mechanism for those pegs right there on the base of his neck. And you want to fold the fists. That's probably wise to just get the fists out of the way. You want to fold those forearms upward like this and tab them in. And then you want to lift this midsection right here. You can see right here, these are going to be part of the sides of the cab. So you want to rotate the arms this way, fold them out this way. So rotate them this way and fold them out this way. It's a little complex, but they, like I mentioned earlier, they had to do that so they could give you a good robot mode and at the same time a very accurate alt mode. Fold the upper section of the torso up like this so that there's room for you to rotate the midsection swivel of the torso. Okay, not the waist section. Make sure you swivel the midsection of the torso. The legs, I felt they could have done a better job with this one. They love using the engineering they used for Brawn and for Siege Hound, wherein they split the legs this way. I'm not a big fan of this, but there was really no way around this. I think this was the best way to do this. So you fold that up this way, collapse it onto the midsection of the torso, and then the feet, not a big fan of this. You got to tab them onto the shins and the lower part of the knee. So it forms this part of the cab. I'll show that off later, but not a big fan of that. And then you tab the knees together, and that's the rear end of the truck. Now the front end, you want to go ahead and fold everything up. You want to fold this, the wheels up like this or down like this. And then the arms, you're going to tab them onto these sections right here and just lock them in place. And then these tabs right here on the upper thighs or upper hips, they're going to tab onto his back and form that bottom part of the truck. Now the chest piece is going to form the front part of the truck. Tab and secure those arm sections, and then the roof is just going to slide over on top. Yeah, clearance issues a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal. It doesn't really tab as securely as I wanted to, but it will stay in place. Essentially, that's the truck mode. It looks very close to the animated version of the truck, especially up here in front. On the side, this one is a bit of an eyesore, but I guess I'd rather have this than an empty space right here, much like the Studio Series Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime. But yeah, I wish they could have done a better job in transforming the feet. But it's, like I said, it's a good involved transformation. There was really no way out of it. They had to compress the legs. Yeah, Battle Axe, it just tabs in across the feet like that. Kind of covers the whole ugly section on the back. For comparison, in truck mode, here is the original animated Voyager class Optimus Prime. Here they are without the weapons. And here he is with the rest of the gang once again. With these two other guys, I think he scales better than the original. And so some final thoughts on this Legacy United Animated Universe Optimus Prime. I was actually surprised that I like it. The figure exceeded my low expectations. In terms of aesthetic, both truck mode and robot mode looks pretty good. I love the plastic quality. The battle axe is amazing. That head sculpt is just absolutely glorious. Albeit it is not a perfect substitute for the original animated Voyager class Optimus Prime. I believe this figure is for fans of the animated cartoon series who love Optimus Prime and who are collecting the Generations line. Now, a lot of people are saying, why bother getting one when you already have the original animated figure? Well, a figure like this brings into the Generations line all the things you loved about the original animated Optimus Prime. Everything about the figure, in terms of aesthetic, engineering, and overall quality, really conveys and reflects the animated Optimus Prime that we all loved. I think this is a very good
Optimus Prime figure. If you're thinking of passing this figure up despite being an animated fan, give it a second look. I mean, if you can get it at retail price or slightly below retail price, I highly recommend you pick up this figure. It may surprise you, much like it did me. The figure is going to get a 9.5 out of 10. It could use a few more accessories here and there. You could use that faceplate. It's not perfect, but like I said, it's a very, very good Optimus Prime figure. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of this Transformers Generations Legacy United Voyager class animated universe Optimus Prime. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.